Hello, good evening and welcome to the Schlocky Horror Picture Show. I'm your host, Nigel Honeybone. As you well know, I normally screen old forgotten films ranging from B grade all the way down to letters that haven't even been invented yet. You either have a soft spot for them, even if you make fun of them, or you're sane. If you fall into the latter category and wish to remain there, I advise you switch channels right now because the film I'm screening tonight is all about that soft spot, whether it be in your heart or in your head. Nowadays, it's all too common for Hollywood to take an outdated movie and produce a modern remake, but rarely does someone come up with a new idea and make it as an outdated movie. Tonight's presentation, The Monster of Phantom Lake, is one such film by Christopher Meem, produced in 2006 as a monochromatic tribute to the B-grade drive-in movies of the 50s. Starring Josh Craig, Justin Overlander, Michael Cook, Scott Tallman, Deanne MacDonald and my old girlfriend Rachel Grubb, The Monster of Phantom Lake is a glorious black and white homage that immerses the viewer in a cacophony of cliches as rubber-suited monsters and terrified teenagers run around in front of the camera. Get ready to discover the terrifying effects of atomic waste in the form of a horribly mutated war veteran. Can Professor Jackson and his sexy assistant unlock the monster's frightening secret? Will teenager Elizabeth finally confront her own fears? Will George survive his encounter with the hideous beast? Will Jonathan and Amy go all the way? These questions and others will be more than likely ignored as we sit back, relax and absorb the irradiated swampy goodness that is The Monster of Phantom Lake.
You sure this is the right thing to do?
Hey, the boss says if we don't get rid of this stuff, those eggheads down at City Hall are gonna shut us down. You do like having a job, don't ya?
Well, yeah, but why do we gotta dump it here? My dad used to take me fishing on this lake when I was a kid.
Spare me the sentimentality. Boss says we don't dump it here, we'll be forced to pay someone else to clean it up and store it. And that takes money.
No, this just don't feel right.
Would you shut up and do your job? No one's paying you to care. Besides, it ain't like this stuff is dangerous.
Yeah, how do you know?
People been dumping all kinds of stuff in this lake for years. What makes you think the sludge is gonna make any difference? Hey, am I gonna have to do this all by myself?
How do you know this stuff ain't dangerous?
I don't, and I don't care. All I know is if the plant has to pay to have it taken care of, you and me is out a job. I got 5 mouths to feed and you got 3. Now get to work.
You're right. What do I care, right?
That's right.
Professor, you sure know how to tell a joke.
Well, I may be a man of science, Miss Yates, but I'm no square. Besides, some would say the ability to tell a joke well is a science.
Another good one, Professor Jackson.
Thank you, Miss Yates. This is a fine spot you've selected. The perfect place for our experiments.
I am so looking forward to some real experimentation this weekend, Professor.
So am I, Miss Yates. So am I.
And I can honestly say that there's no one else I'd rather be experimenting with.
You flatter me, Miss Yates, for I am but a lowly man of science. You're a professor to boot. Let us not forget why we are here. Your postgraduate work and my future use as a scientist depend greatly on how well this weekend's experimentation shapes up. You should unpack. It's getting to be quite late. I'll grab the gear in the back seat, and you can get it from the rear.
Sounds good to me.
Let's be careful now. There's a lot of sensitive equipment back there.
There sure is.
We should set up camp a little further into the woods. The car should be fine right here.
Excellent idea, Professor.
George. Elizabeth looks so sad sitting there all alone. You should ask her to dance.
You actually want me to dance with another girl?
Come on, George. She's my best friend. Besides, you know I'm not the jealous type. I know how to share.
Do I have to? Your friend can be such a drip.
How rude of you, George. Is that how they treat people on the East Coast?
Don't be silly, Penny. They're far worse out there. But seriously, Penny, I may be from the East Coast, but McGuanago, Wisconsin is the place I live.
Why are you leaving me and moving to Texas?
Don't start now, Penny. We only graduated yesterday. We have the entire summer to spend together. Besides, I haven't given up on convincing you to join me.
What's so great about Texas anyway?
Don't you know? It's the land of opportunity. I plan to find my fortune down there. And someday, when I've made $1 million, I'm gonna buy myself a baseball team.
Speaking of opportunity, the song just ended. Now's your chance.
Chance for what?
To ask Elizabeth to dance.
If I must. Excuse me, Miss Weir. Would you like to dance?
I don't know if I should. I've never done it, and my parents don't approve of rock and roll.
Don't worry about that. Your parents aren't here.
I don't know.
Come on. It's easy. I'll show you.
Come on, Elizabeth. You'll like it, I promise.
Come on, Elizabeth. Don't be such a square. All the cool kids do it.
Yeah, all the cool kids do it.
All right. I guess it can't hurt to try it.
Okay. Now, look here. It's easy. Just feel the music. Don't hurt yourself. Just relax. Just try to enjoy yourself.
I'm trying. It just feels so unnatural to me.
Like making out in the back of a Volkswagen.
Hey, you guys, leave her alone. What's wrong, Elizabeth?
Nothing. I'm sorry, Penny. I guess I'm just not hip like you. Maybe I should go home.
Nonsense. We all graduated yesterday and we're all going to celebrate. We've been planning this camping trip for months and you're not backing out now that we're here.
I guess.
Look, we don't have to dance anymore. I've got an idea. Why don't we turn off the music, cook some hot dogs, and tell scary stories?
That's a wonderful idea, Penny.
Yeah, my Johnny knows lots of great scary stories.
I don't know, guys. I don't like ghost stories. They give me nightmares.
Don't be such a wet ray.
Yeah, don't be such a freak. It'll be a blast, you'll see.
I guess I'm just scared of everything, that's all.
It's all right. Everyone's scared of something.
Speak for yourself, sister. I ain't scared of nothing.
Oh yeah? Well, we'll see about that. 'Cause I got a good one, and it's all true. Gather round, friends. I got a story to tell. You guys ever hear of the Hermit of Phantom Lake?
I have.
I haven't.
Well, there's this guy who lives alone in these woods. His name is Michael Kaiser, but everyone calls him Lobo. My dad served with him in the war. And he told me this story about how this Lobo guy took out an entire machine gun nest, single-handedly with only his knife, crept up behind them, and slashed their throats while the dirty crowds took a smoke break.
That's awful.
Not as awful as what happened when he got home. Seems when he got home, he couldn't adjust to normal life again. Kept having these weird dreams about the Germans breaking into his house and trying to kill his whole family. Sometimes his wife said he'd get up out of bed in a trance, grab his hunting rifle and walk right out of the house. They'd find him wandering aimlessly through town in the middle of the night, and he could never remember how he got there. One night, he was so out of his mind, he was convinced that his own wife was an undercover Nazi operative who was trying to control his mind. He went to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and tried to stab her.
I don't like this story.
But when he finally snapped out of it, he found his wife had left him and moved back to Minnesota to live with her parents. She refused to come home until Lobo got help, but he blamed her. He was still convinced that she was a Nazi spy who had secretly taken his wife's place. So he drove all the way to St. Paul to find her. And once he got there, took his gun and bang! Shot her dead.
That's terrible. Did he end up in jail?
No, like I said, he's living right here in these very woods.
That doesn't make any sense. How can someone kill their wife and not be punished?
He got off because the doctor said he wasn't in his right mind. Said he was suffering from shell shock and didn't realize what was happening. But when he did finally realize what he'd done, he cracked. They let him go. He came back home, sold everything he owned, and now he roams these very woods.
There's a murderer living in the very woods we're camping in? I want to go home.
Don't be such a bore, Elizabeth. It's just a story. There's no hermit of Phantom Lake. Right, Johnny?
Oh, yes, there is. I've seen the guy myself. He's got these crazy eyes, and he constantly talks to himself. Keeps talking about the Germans.
I don't like this. Not one bit.
Don't know there's crowds and the Germans. Crowds and the Germans. What's the problem?
Drop my hat in the water.
Come on, would ya? Let's go before my wife starts wondering.
I have to go in after it.
I wouldn't if I were you. Come on, would ya?
Darn it.
Stupid German. Lost your hat. That's what you get. Now it's my hat, German.
Would you listen to that?
What?
The frogs. It's almost as if they're singing to us.
How long have you played guitar, Professor?
As long as I can remember, Miss Yates. My mother used to say I could play Camptown races before I could say my first word.
That's something I'd like to see. Little Professor Jackson plinking away on his 2-cent guitar.
Yes, it was quite a sight, I'm sure.
So tell me, Daniel, what were you like as a child?
We're on a first-name basis now, Miss Yates?
Oh. Oh, I'm so sorry, Professor Jackson. I didn't mean anything by it.
Don't worry, Miss Yates. I'm not offended. You can call me Daniel if you'd like. We are going to be spending quite a bit of time together this weekend.
Thank you, but if it's all the same to you, I'll stick to Professor Jackson.
That's perfectly acceptable, Miss Yates.
Although someday I hope you'll feel comfortable enough to call me by my first name. Stephanie.
Perhaps someday. Perhaps someday.
You should play a song.
A song? Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I really only play for fun. I'm not much for performance.
Oh, please, Professor. I'd love to hear you play for real.
Why not? What would you like to hear?
Any old thing will do.
An old standard, perhaps? Camptown races?
How about something a little more modern? Do you know any rock and roll? Do you like rock and roll?
Quite embarrassed to admit this, but I am rather fond of the rock and roll.
You are? I love rock and roll music. Oh, wow, Professor, we have so much in common.
Yes, we both like rock and roll, and we have an unquenchable thirst for scientific knowledge.
And we're both young and single.
I don't know if I consider 31 to be all that young, but sadly I am single. I guess you could say I'm married to my work.
Well, 31 isn't that old. I'm almost 25. My father is 6 years older than my mother. It's not that far-fetched.
What's not far-fetched? Are we getting married now, Miss Yates?
Well, no, that's not what I meant exactly.
I'm only fooling with you, Miss Yates. You do like to fool around, don't you?
I would love to fool around.
How about that song?
Yes, please.
I've got just the one. It's an original.
You write songs, too? Is there anything you can't do?
Don't judge me the next Elvis Presley just yet. You haven't heard my song.
What's it called?
It's called A Rockin', A Rollin', All the Way Ramblin'. And it goes something like this.
Life is a mystery, that much is plain to see. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've got a tale to tell, I hope I tell it well. Oh yeah, oh yeah. A rockin', a rollin', all the way a ramblin', oh yeah. You see the world like me, so scientifically, oh yeah, oh yeah. A rockin', a rollin', all the way a ramblin', oh yeah. A rockin', a rollin', all the way a ramblin'. A rockin', a rollin', all the way a ramblin', oh yeah.
Magnificent, Professor. That was simply wonderful.
Thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
Oh, I did. I truly did. And Elvis Presley better watch out for his career. It might be in jeopardy.
You're too kind, Miss Yates. Too kind. Perhaps we should turn in for the evening. It's getting to be quite late, and there is much science to be done in the morning.
Perhaps you're right, Professor.
Good night, Miss Yates.
Good night, Professor Jackson. Take a look at this, Professor.
That's rather interesting. It looks like algae of some kind, but I've never seen anything like it. It seems to be confined to that one spot over there. Run it through the evolutoscopic spectroanalyzer and see what comes up. Now be careful with that evolutoscopic spectroanalyzer. I don't think the university was very happy we removed it from the lab. As far as I know, it cost them over $100.
Gee whiz, Professor, I can't even imagine that much money.
Yes, $100 does seem like a lot of money, but someday, Miss Yates, $100 won't even buy you a ticket to the drive-in.
That's crazy, Professor.
I wouldn't worry too much about it, Miss Yates. By the time the drive-in costs you $100, the drive-in will most likely be the fly-in.
And you'll eat your popcorn by swallowing a pill.
I wouldn't be surprised. Miss Yates, come take a look at this.
What is it, Professor?
I've never seen anything like it.
Never seen anything like it either. What is it?
I can't be sure, but I think it's a frog. But I've never seen one with these peculiar features.
It has 8 legs, like a spider. Let that thing swim. I've never seen a frog move that fast. What is it, Professor?
I'm not sure, Miss Yates, but I think we might be looking at the next step in the evolution of the common amphibian.
You really think so? That's incredible.
Or
what, Professor?
something far more insidious.
What do you mean?
I don't know, Miss Yates. I don't know.
Hello there.
Oh, hello, officers. I didn't notice you coming up the shoreline.
Well, you know, that's the real benefit of chasing down criminals in a canoe. No one hears you coming.
No, I don't suppose they do.
It does the trick with the ladies, too.
I'm no Sven. There's a young lady present.
Sorry about that, miss. I meant no offense.
None taken, sirs. What can I do for you?
Actually, I was going to ask you the same thing.
What do you mean?
You see, my partner and I came out of the reeds over there and saw you and your lady here. At first, we didn't think nothing of it until we saw all that weird equipment piled up over there in that blanket.
Ah, yes, that. I suppose to the untrained eye it would seem a little strange. It's just a little harmless science. Let me introduce myself. I'm Professor Jackson, and this is my graduate student, Stephanie Yates. We're from the university, spending the weekend at the lake, studying the local amphibious population.
The local what?
Amphibious population.
Frogs.
Frogs? What for?
Believe it or not, you can learn a lot about the world we live in by studying the local aquatic and amphibious creatures. In fact, some believe that through better understanding of the little critters of nature, we can better understand humanity's future.
But the little critters of nature are so ugly.
That may be true, but they don't know that they're ugly.
You don't say.
I had an uncle who used to think eating frogs made you psychic.
I'm sorry we bothered you folks.
No problem.
If you need anything, you let us know.
Thank you, officers. We need to catch another one of those spider frogs, alive if possible.
Professor, I think you should take a look at this.
What is it, Miss Yates?
Well, the results of the analysis of that strange algae-like sludge are back, but I'm confused. The spectroanalyzer doesn't make any sense, and the hydroseismometer is coming back rather screwy.
Screwy?
Take a look.
Well, that is peculiar. Something not right here, Miss Yates.
Got a bad feeling about this.
I wouldn't worry your pretty little head, Miss Yates. I'm sure it's nothing.
My pretty head?
Just an expression, Miss Yates. Just an expression. We need to get these samples back to the campsite where we can study them in more detail, without interruption.
We should wake up the boys if we're going to get to that hike.
I didn't sleep a single minute last night after that horrible story. I don't think I'm up for a hike.
You'll be fine. You don't really need sleep. My grandfather used to tell me how he lived on 3 hours of sleep a night.
But I'm not an old man.
But you're acting like an old maid.
Hey, you two, mind your manners.
What's all the commotion out here?
Yeah, sounded like a cat fight.
It was nothing, just Elizabeth complaining again.
I'm sorry. I couldn't sleep last night. I was so afraid the hermit would come for me.
You didn't have to come camping with us, you know. Who invited you anyway?
Stop it, you two. Elizabeth is my best friend. I invited her, and this camping trip was my idea. Can't we all just get along?
Hey, where's breakfast?
Yeah, I'm starved. There's no way I'm going on a hike without breakfast.
We already ate without you.
What? 3 women and none of you made the men breakfast?
I told you they'd be sore at us.
Relax, Elizabeth. The boys can fend for themselves. They're the ones who overslept. Now come on, you two. We're ready to go on that hike, with or without you.
Can't argue with that.
I've got some trail mix you can munch on the way.
Sounds swell. What are we waiting for then? What a wonderful day to be in the great outdoors, eh, gang?
Got that right.
It seems a bit hot to me.
I think it's perfect.
Hey, what is that?
What is what?
That gunk all over that tree near your feet.
What gunk?
That. What is that?
Oh, now that is way out. It smells funny too.
What is it?
Hey!
Don't touch it.
Why? It ain't gonna hurt me.
Guys?
How do you know?
Well, how do you know it will?
Guys!
Well, I don't, but one thing I do know is you don't go poking your fingers around weird smelling gunk stuck to trees.
Guys!
What?
Look!
Maybe we should keep moving.
Maybe we should go back to the campsite.
I'm with Elizabeth on this one. Maybe we should head back.
Yeah, let's go back.
Are you kidding? Over a little animal print? Come on, it's just a bear or something.
That doesn't look like any bear print I've ever seen.
Oh, so it's not a bear. Big deal, it doesn't mean anything. Come on, you guys, let's keep going. It's a gorgeous day.
I'm scared.
Well, you're scared of everything. You said so yourself.
Come on, let's just head back, Jonathan. We don't want to upset the girls. Besides, I think we could all use some lunch. That trail mix just didn't cut it.
Ah, shucks. Okay, let's go.
Are we lost?
No, we're not lost. We're just taking a different way back. That's all.
Is that all?
Wait.
What is that?
Sounds like people talking.
Oh no! What if it's that murderer Jonathan told us about?
Would you relax? That was just a story.
That was not just a story. Every word of it is true. My dad swears by it. My father stormed the beach at Normandy.
Would you be quiet?
Hello? Is someone out there? I said hello. Show yourselves.
Now look what you did.
What?
Come on out and join us. We mean you no harm.
All right. Let's go.
Well, hello there. It's good to meet face to face. For a moment, I thought you might be spying on us.
We're not German spies.
German spies? Have you kids been eating the local mushrooms?
Just some trail mix, sir.
I see. So if you're not spies, what are you?
Well, we're just fellow campers out for a hike. We're lost. We're not lost. Simply taking a different way to get back.
Ah, yes, I understand. Perhaps I should introduce myself. I'm Professor Jackson. This is my graduate student, Stephanie Yates. We're from the university, down here this weekend to do a little science. We've been studying the local amphibious population.
It's nice to meet you, sir. I'm George. This is Jonathan. That's Elizabeth Weir, Amy, and Penny. We just graduated from high school on Friday, and we're spending the weekend camping to celebrate.
Wonderful. Congratulations. Perhaps I'll be seeing some of you up at the university next fall.
I've already registered.
Fantastic. Say, you look familiar.
I do?
What's your last name?
Archer, sir.
Archer. Archer. Say, you wouldn't happen to be Henry Archer's son, would you?
Yes, I am.
Yes, of course. That's incredible. I served with your father during the war.
Really?
It truly is a small world. Say, how is your father? Oh, he was an incredible engineer.
He's doing swell. Hey, You served with my dad. You could probably settle something for us.
Okay.
Did you serve with a guy named Michael Kaiser, the guy they called Lobo?
Not this again.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I did. It's a crying shame what happened to him. He was a damn fine soldier and a damn fine man. He couldn't help what he did.
I told you so.
So the story is true? There really is a murderer living in these woods? I want to go home.
Now hold on there, miss. Michael is just a poor lost soul who couldn't deal with the aftermath of his wartime service. I've personally seen it happen multiple times. Michael does in fact live in these woods, but he's harmless, believe me. He just wants to be left alone to make peace with his demons. He's not dangerous.
But he killed his own wife.
Yes, he did, but he's paid the consequences. He's not a threat to anyone.
Say, what is that you're working on?
Oh, this? I'm analyzing a sample of this strange algae-like material we pulled from Phantom Lake.
That looks exactly like the stuff we just found out in the woods.
What now? You found this substance elsewhere?
Well, yeah, when we were out on our hike. We stopped for a rest down by the creek and found a whole bunch of that stuff stuck to the base of a tree.
And we found a handprint made out of it.
Handprint?
No, not really a handprint. More like a paw print. Like a bear.
So you found a bear track?
Yeah.
It didn't look like any bear track I've ever seen.
Well, what did it look like?
Honestly, it looked more like a handprint. But it was really weird.
How so?
Well, it was really big, and it had 4 fingers. And it looked like it had claws.
Really big claws.
Now I'm intrigued. Do you think you could show me? Could you find it if you tried?
Sure.
Would you take me?
No problem.
I'm going too.
Count me out.
Me too.
Me too.
You guys go ahead. I'll stay here with the equipment. You girls are welcome to join me.
It sounds great. We can have some lunch.
Wonderful.
Sounds like a plan. We'll be back as soon as possible. In the meantime, keep on that analysis. This is getting more interesting by the minute.
Don't worry about us, Professor.
There it is.
Interesting. This is quite unusual. It sure doesn't look like a bear print, but it's not quite human either.
I've never seen anything like it before.
Neither have I. Neither have I.
There's something not quite right with the lake today, Sven.
What do you mean, Gustav?
I can't put my finger on it, but she just don't feel like the old girl I've grown to love.
I'm not following you, Gustav.
I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Maybe it's nothing.
Lord knows this lake has been nothing but good to us, Sven. Maybe someday when I'm no longer floating on God's green earth, I can return to this majestic body of water and have myself a good old-fashioned Viking funeral. Just like in the old country, eh, Sven?
Yeah, the old country.
Sven? Ah, doggone it, Sven. Did you fall in again? Hey, now that's not funny, Sven. Now what happened to your arm? Hey, you're not Sven.
What was that?
I don't know, but we should investigate. Let's go. This is odd.
Whose canoe is that?
It belongs to policemen who patrol these woods.
But where are the policemen?
An interesting question.
Look!
I have a bad feeling about this.
Something's not right here.
They could just be on a break.
They would have taken their canoe out of the water, or at least tied it up. As it is now, it could easily float away.
Do you think they were attacked?
By what?
That thing.
Now let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's probably a completely rational explanation for all this.
Should we go in and see if we can find them?
Sure, I'm a great swimmer.
No, wait. We don't yet know enough about this situation to rush into anything.
But they could be drowning as we speak.
We don't know that. Besides, we don't know what that sticky black substance is. I don't want to put anyone at risk just in case. We should return to the campsite and see if Stephanie's analysis has yielded anything. Lead the way, Mr. Archer.
You got it, Professor.
Glued to your seats? You should probably bathe more often. I'll be back right after these intrusive announcements to tell you all about the future cult classic known as Monster of Phantom Lake.